Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode.
Welcome back to this week's episode of the Shed Geek podcast. This is Susan the Shed Gal. I have the absolute honor today to be with Bryan, Sarah, and Morgan Parton here in Pickens, South Carolina. And I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for coming on today's podcast.
Thank you for being here.
So great to be here. A little bit of a cloudy day. You have an absolutely beautiful lot, and we're just gonna have a conversation and want to learn about you. So to start off with, tell me a little bit about your business, how you got here, how long you've been in business, and we'll go from there.
I'll start us off.
Great.
So I was a banker for 25 years, and so got into shed hauling and just wanted to do something a little different. And so that was 4 years ago when COVID started. So me and my wife were talking, and I was like, man, this has got to be the worst time to start a business. But actually, that was some of the best business in probably 20 or 30 years of shed hauling in business. So it was a good time to start. So it worked out well for us.
Excellent. So that is quite a jump from banking to shed hauling. So fill me in there. We've talked a little bit about this in the past when we met at the Shed Haulers Bash, but tell me about how you made that leap, because I don't think it's natural I don't think there's a lot of bankers listening that are like, I'm going to jump into shed hauling. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how did you get from here to there to here?
So one of my business customers, he built sheds and here local in town. And so he was, I was helping him with his equipment financing. So I worked with him on that. And then, of course, a lot of people say that, they're going to make a lot of money in their first year. They think they're going to make $1 million in their first year of business. But so I got to watch, as things progressed with him and realized that he was correct and he was making good money with it. And
interesting.
I was a business banker, so I always wanted to do some business, and we just never really felt comfortable to make that leap, into full time, take that risk.
Right.
And so I met Sam through the Facebook page and realized he was only an hour away. And so I got to talking with him, and then he hooked me up with a shed hauler. And I was going to kind of start on the weekends just to kind of get it in, learn and do some of that. And then I got full-time opportunity with it. So we talked and realized it was a risk worth taking. And here we are 4 years later.
Fantastic. What's been the biggest challenge for you coming from the prior career to this?
A lot of it was, to me, probably the physical, because I was sitting behind a desk the whole time, and shed hauling is not easy.
It's different?
Oh, yeah, very.
A little bit, yeah.
And, but we use a lot, banking is selling, and I've always enjoyed that part, talking with people, meeting new people. So that's how I always used, and banking and selling. So that's what I've done in banking, just talk with people, find something in common with them. And then Sarah, she's never really been a super outgoing person or a salesperson, and she's really done well with it. Got into it. This is something that's different for her, but once she got into it, she is a natural with it.
Wonderful. Well, I think we know. I mean, it's a people business, right?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So you start off hauling, and Morgan, I know you're involved in that. Where did your involvement come in with the hauling?
Yeah, so he started like you said with a guy, and kind of took off from there. But yeah, as soon as he started, he was asking me one day. He was like, "You want to help me out for a day?" And I'll be honest with you, I quit my job. Was it the next week?
Wow.
Quit my job the next week.
That's commitment.
Started riding with him, and at the time I didn't have near as many bills, but quit my job and took off with him, and within about 6 months we was rolling.
Yep.
We was rolling. But
and then he started, he got his own rig. Guy had an extra rig for him, so he started doing it on his own. And then
love that.
Our other son, he's in college right now, but he was in high school, so COVID was he was a senior, so COVID put
I had
him
one of
through,
those too.
Yeah, COVID put him on the e-learning, so he got to ride with us a lot. So it was a great time. I've always wanted to do something as a family, and it didn't really start out that way, but then it quickly evolved to it, and we really enjoyed it. And then Sarah's got a interesting story too. We'll get her to tell that, but
Oh, yeah.
how she got in with us on that. But it's me and the boys, and then my dad was retired, so he helped out a lot too.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. He was recently retired, and he was a pastor. He preached for nearly 40 years, and so he started hitting the road with me, and it was good for him. He got a little physical in there too with it, and he got under sheds with us and learned a lot of that. But it was mostly just to have some company on the road, when the boys were off doing other stuff.
That's super interesting to me, and I don't know if this is true for you too, but I'm one of the unicorns in the industry as far as not being related to people in the industry. But I see where this industry, it's such a great, from the selling to the hauling to the manufacturing, it's such a cool industry.
Yeah.
That I see why people, hey, my cousin does it. I know it's a great opportunity. I've checked it out, and to be able to do it, and then now you're really building a legacy for your family.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, Sarah. Well, let's go back here. How did we meet?
So let's see.
Well, I mean, I know we met in person first for the Shed Haulers Bash.
Yeah.
But do you remember when how we first started talking?
I think you had wrote a manual. You had your lots at the time.
Yes.
And you had wrote about a 50-something page manual, and you were giving it away, something crazy in the shed business that nobody ever does, but you were giving it away for free. And I was like, heck, she's giving us a 50-page manual that tells you how to make money in the shed industry and how to improve your stuff. So I think that's the first time I can remember us talking. And then we started, just kind of, we'd ask you questions. And then when we opened the shed lot, then me and Sarah got on a conference call with you.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw the video on Upflip. I can't remember, but it's been a couple of years, and it's one of the things that I was reflecting on this morning. I have met such great people in this industry that have reached out and that I'm still in communication with, and it's like at the shuttle, going to the bash, I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally get to meet them in person. It's really amazing. So I want to talk to you, Sarah. We're in this beautiful. I mean, this office is spectacular, and it's welcoming. It's professional. It looks great. They have the best porta potty I've ever seen in my life. We were going to tape in there, but we couldn't figure out a way to fit all four of us in there. But never seen someone decorate a porta potty, but it's amazing.
It smells
I'd highly
great.
recommend it. Stealing that idea, but let's talk about this. You're in the dealer side now, so we have husband, son, other son, father-in-law. Getting in the hauling side. What brought you to being a dealer?
I was in dentistry for 25 years.
Well, that's a natural
Yeah.
leap, just like from banking, right?
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly,
all right.
Yeah. So when he started the shed hauling business, we had always talked about the possibility of me joining him and doing something, but I really
You were going to have her haul your blocks, weren't you?
and that's exactly the way
I know how this works.
Yeah. So my dad actually got sick, and I needed to take care of him. So I quit my job,
Okay.
and I started taking care of him, and then riding with him, occasionally. And then it got to where I was riding with him all the time. My dad passed away, so I needed to do something. So I started riding with him full time. That lasted, about 6 months?
Yep.
Yeah.
Would have been funnier if you said 6 days.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was when she started.
Mentally, I was over in 6 days. But
In the first 6 days, she likes to tell everybody I about killed her twice.
he did. And that's honestly the reason that we opened this lot is because I was tired of fearing for my life.
Till death do us part.
He almost dropped a building on me twice. He scared me with a snake, which I'm terrified of snakes.
Oh,
that was actually the
all
straw
bets
that
are off there,
That's
my
the best,
friend.
That's the best
That-
story.
No,
Yeah.
No, and then I got hit with a farm jack, and after that, I was done. But we won't go into that story.
Yeah, we'll
because
talk
that's a
about
little-
that on the next
Yeah,
episode.
that's a little personal. I don't think
Wow.
we can talk about it on here. But
The swear words were flying.
yes, they were. and I don't say those words.
Oh boy, it must have been bad.
It was
Yeah.
bad, yeah. So we had talked about doing, opening a lot, and I can't sell anything. I'm not a salesman at all, but I talk to people. I love to talk. And I mean, it's like he said, you just find something that you have in common and just open up a conversation.
Absolutely.
And that's all it is. Then you find out what they want. But so we had talked about opening up a lot, and the plan was for him to get off the road, for us to open this together, him mainly run it.
Okay.
And for to do our hauling for us. He was here 2 days, and then I think I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's delve into that. What did you do? Why only 2 days? What happened? There's a story by. Okay, all right.
It was nothing like that, and she got out. Her dad was sick, and we had an aide, so we was able to, we was riding together, so that worked out good. But like I said, we was trying to get off the road, and had a good opportunity, opened it up on a manufacturer's facility. They wanted to do a kind of a storefront.
Oh, that's right. That's when we started talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's coming back to me.
Yep. And the cool thing about this office too is me and Sarah did a lot of this work. Sarah did most of the work. But
Sarah said she did all the work and you sat around. But
and what I did, I screwed it up. So
okay.
So I sent him home, and then I finished it.
Yeah. But
we need to be honest.
Yeah. But so we started with the sales lot, and we started kind of opening it up. We had some customers come by, and it was kind of slow. We didn't have road frontage, but we're kind of doing that. And then she just loved it, and just naturally just is like a magnet for us.
Yeah.
Then she kind of took over, and then I would deliver some, and we'd kind of get that going. But it just kind of worked out great for us that way.
I love that. And that was at a different location. And then you moved to this property when?
A year ago.
A little over a year.
A year ago. Okay.
It was only 3 miles down the road.
Okay.
And to speak on that too, I think that's what really took off our online as well. That really helped us out and got her acclimated to selling online, because we didn't have road frontage. So she really got to the point of being able to sell online, being able to post online, and really got used to selling online versus.
Sam, you want to go sell a shed for us? You know how to sell a shed?
We have a peanut gallery back here, folks, and we are at a lot. Customers do come in. Greetings from the Shed Gal. As I delve deeper into the shed and steel building industries, I am thrilled to establish connections with friends who offer amazing products, such as Wendell Hochstetler, the owner of VersaBend Tube Bender. At VersaBend, they thank you for your interest in their tube bender. The VersaBend is designed to bend 2-inch, 2 1/4 inch, and 2 1/2 inch square tubing, as well as 2 by 3 inch rectangular tubing in either 14 or 12 gauge. Powered by a robust 5 horsepower unit, it features 2 adjustable stops for setting your desired degree or pitch. Priced at just $19,500 and shipped from Abbeville, South Carolina, you can secure your VersaBend with a down payment of only $1,500. Contact them today to check availability and get placed on their order list. VersaBend is a family-owned business dedicated to providing an easy-to-operate bender made with off-the-shelf components. A unique feature of their bender is that it offers a full radius bend, unlike the double crushed bends produced by most other machines. Want to see it in action? Visit their website at www.csecarport.supply or give them a call at 864-446-3645. So, Sarah, we were talking about getting in as a dealer. So let's go on. Tell us more about that.
So I had quit dentistry, started riding with him, and then we opened the lot. He was here 2 days. I remember we got to that part, and then I just fell in love with it. I never thought in a million years that I would ever be doing anything like this. I thought I would die in the dentistry field.
Die in dentistry. That sounds painful.
And I almost did. And that's why I got out. Mentally, it was just killing me. And I mean, when you own your own business and you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
I completely agree.
It's amazing.
You said something earlier that I hear a lot. and we were just talking about it out there. You said, I'm not a salesman. And I, I always try to delve into, why do we do that? Why do we say that? Because no matter what we are doing, if you're delivering a shed, no, you're not selling it, right? You're delivering it, but you're selling yourself as far as how you present yourself and that sort of thing. So what do you think, one of the employees that I had who was fabulous, he started out as a customer and we became friends. And he and his wife owned a flower shop, and they had split up, and I knew he was not working, and I'm like, personality, this is my guy. And so we're meeting, and Susan, I'm not a salesman. He used to work for one of the founders of Microsoft. He was his head airplane mechanic. And so he's like, I've never been in sales. And I said, well, you worked at the flower shop, right? Yeah, well, yeah. But I'm not a salesman. I said, well, when a customer came in the front door, did you run out the back door? Yeah. This was the conversation. He's like, well, no, of course not. I greeted him. Great, we do that too.
Yeah.
Then they asked you, they wanted to buy some flowers, and you told them go away. No, I would ask them questions, and we were developing a little rapport, and I'd find out, oh, I'm sorry, your mother passed away, and or it's for a wedding, and we do the same thing. That's what we do. I said, you're perfect. You are a salesman. He's like, it was, but his first thing was, I'm not a salesperson. I think that in any industry, when people think of, this is just my opinion, when we think of salesperson, there's a negative connotation to it. Only with people that we don't want to deal with. Most salespeople, which we all are not that way. So own that, girl. Own it.
And that's what, when we started with this, I've always been the salesperson. I would sell stuff, and banking is basically sales.
Yes, it absolutely is.
And I told her, I said, my biggest thing is the way I do and like doing, just all the time, is find something in common with your customer. You can find something in common with probably the most uncommon person that you're going to meet. You got one thing in common with somebody, or something that you can talk about.
Yes.
And that's just what I told her. I said, find something in common with them. If they like to fish, you like to fish, or if they like to knit, you like to knit, all kind of stuff. Just find something in common with them and get them to trust you. And then it just goes from there. And we manned the lot. So we're actually here. We don't expect them to sell themselves. Yeah. And, if you want to sell 2 sheds a month, yeah, you can do that. Just unman it.
You have a very good point.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we couldn't do that because we were
You were all in. We were all in.
Yes. So, failure was not an option. That's what I tell people. I said,
sounds familiar.
Yeah. The guy that I worked with, he was like, man, he said, you guys just keep on going. It'd be 20-hour days out there. But I told him, I said, we got a family to feed and I got a house to pay for. Right. I said, there's no option. I don't have no option to quit. So, right. But that's what, and people come to the office, and we were talking about this a little earlier, but we're not chasing them down, or we're not just sitting in here. We've had people come in and tell us their salesperson would sit in the car and, scream over across the lot, let me know if you need anything. So we just tell them, we say, do you want us to walk around with you, or do you want to walk around and look? And they're 50-50.
I love that. You actually ask.
Exactly.
I absolutely love that. I hope people are hearing that. You ask. Because why is that? Some people want to do it on, they want that freedom to not. Yeah.
And it's personal.
Just ask them.
You're talking about dropping $5,000 to $10,000 on a shed. Sometime you got to figure out how you're going to work the payments, or how you're going to come up with that money. And you don't want to talk about that in front of a stranger. So, they can talk about that while they're walking around. I always tell them, I say, if you want to walk around and look, feel free. Stop by. If you got any questions, let me know. And some people want me to walk with them. And then I'll say, we'll answer whatever questions you got as we're walking. So that's worked very well for us. But like I said, we've had stories of, people going to other dealers and nobody even be there to ask a question, or, they're chasing them down, trying to force them to buy something that they're not sure. Sometimes we've had people take they visited 3 or 4 times before they finally bought that shed, but then they end up buying it, and they're buying it from us.
Well, I don't even need a shed, and I kind of want to order one before I leave here today. Now.
There you go.
Well, you're talking to the right people.
That's right. And you're right. I am. You know, I think it comes down to people want to do business with people they like. People want to buy. We do not want to be sold. And, you know, and then you go back to, we talk about this a lot. And I work with people in this industry from all different companies, and I haven't personally met a dealer that operates like you do that has failed. The people that I hear and talk to and see sometimes online that are struggling are the ones that don't have regular hours or no signage, or there's nothing that sets them apart, and sometimes they're pushy. And I think we as consumers can tell right off the bat if someone is genuine or not. Yep. And so, you know, when you were talking, it was like, I'm like, oh yeah, you're just being yourself. You are just being yourself. And so that's interesting. So let me ask you, what's been the biggest challenge in, not economy wise, that's, you know, we know, and sales are cyclical. Things will go up and down, but what business wise, as far as starting your business, what do you see as, and I'll throw out what mine was. I had no processes in place. I had no help. I had no clue what I was doing. I figured it out. I look back, I spent the first year or two putting out fires. It wasn't fun. But I did it. I mean, that part wasn't fun. I loved the process. I loved the people. I loved selling the sheds, but it wasn't fun. What's a piece of advice that you can give to people out there that are something that you go, gosh, if we had just done that, it would have made our lives easier. Something that you could have controlled.
I think one of the biggest things, and I've always, you know, I taught our kids and when growing up, but just never give up. You know, if somebody tells you it can't be done, well, you know, find a way to make it happen. And I think that's what's really helped us out. To me, that's one of our things is when something doesn't work on the delivery, you know, if something's not working one way, we'll find a way to make it happen. Or in the business.
That's great.
You know, if we see an opportunity here, we could either give up and move on, or we can find a solution for it. And, you know, I'm all about the challenge, you know, and kind of overcoming the challenges. And, you know, it's like I don't call it a game, but it's kind of fun for me. That's kind of how I like to do stuff. I like to figure out the challenges and obstacles and overcoming obstacles.
That's good stuff. You have an advantage, and I know what the advantage is, and I think you all know what the advantage is, but I think every dealer should have to ride along with the hauler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't think the haulers probably want most, it feels like there's kind of sometimes them against us and that. And I always made a point of building rapport with the drivers, and we are on the same team. You have a huge advantage because you know how it's done. What advice would you give dealers that have never gone on a delivery, even if they're not riding in the truck? You know, do you think it would be beneficial that dealers take a day or two?
Absolutely. Take a month.
Why take a month. Well, and we get caught up in that, but I have to be here selling. I cannot take a day to go on deliveries because that's taking away. I think it's more valuable to go, but tell us why you think that it's a benefit that you had that experience.
Yeah, I could speak on that for sure.
Yeah.
I think a big thing for us was, we've hauled for a few different companies now, and I think the biggest thing is listening to the drivers. I feel like that's a big thing. Me as a driver, I'm not just saying that for me, but talking with a lot of the guys that we've hauled with or hauled around, I feel like a lot of the salespeople are just, okay, yeah, anything can be done. You have a mule, or they've got a transformer of a trailer. We could definitely get that in there.
You are miracle workers. You really are.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
We hear that.
Yeah. We heard that a lot. And I think, take the advice of the drivers and, take it to heart. And once you start listening to the drivers to an extent, I know some people just complain, but I feel like, at the end of the day, I feel like any advice that you're given from drivers, other salesmen, need to be taken into consideration and taken with a grain of salt, because some of it, could be tossed to the side. But at the end of the day, you're better in the business regardless of how you look at it. or you could be making it worse. So I definitely think listen to the people around you that have the experience for sure.
Right. And I hear that from haulers, some dealers tell the customer anything to make the sale. And I think that's probably true for a few. I think more than that, it is. So, and sometimes customers fib. I know that's a secret, don't tell anybody. Sometimes they do, but I think the biggest portion of it is customers are excited when they're sitting in front of you and they're not taking in everything you're saying. And so sometimes they forget which blocks we recommended, or they, that's so important. But to be cohesive as a team, it's not dealers against drivers. Right. It's not dealers against the manufacturer. I think there are possibly in the past, maybe even today, some companies that kind of try to segregate those areas. But I would encourage them do the exact opposite. We're all on the same team. We have the same goal. Work together. And you're not miracle workers. You can't deliver everything. Right. But in my mind, you're heroes because your job is hard. Mm-hmm. So we're going to now go to metal buildings a little bit. We were just out here walking around. You represent Steelcraft. They have a beautiful product. You have some wonderful, wonderful display models. Did you sell steel from day one, metal buildings? No. Tell me about why'd you start selling them?
Well, we started with a shed company, and we were on their manufacturing lot selling for them. So, of course, naturally, we sold wood sheds. And I'm trying to think. We had people just asking for carports, just started out with metal. And I think it's always, and I'm always I've always business-minded. My college degree was business, so I was business degree from day one.
Right. It's kind of who you are, isn't it?
Yeah. So my thing is kind of the natural progression. We've got wood sheds. Where do we go from now? Then we go to metal, and then we got, then we go to dog kennels, and then greenhouses.
And you have some beautiful, beautiful gazebos out here. I saw a big old lineup of, so hey, if you're around Pickens, South Carolina, and you want to come by and see some really cool products,
that's right.
That would be a Partons sheds.
But, to me, it was just kind of the natural progression of what we were doing. So we started out in shed hauling. So to me, the next natural progression is either to grow that business. And, at the time I was mid-40s. I'm almost 50 now. But so I was like, And I was like,
you're very young to me.
I don't want to be doing this when I'm 50. It's hard. It is hard work.
It is hard work.
It's not easy. It's hard work. So that's kind of how we got into the sales part. Wanted something a little bit more, less physically demanding.
Yes.
But to me, it was kind of the natural progression. As a hauler, the next step is either to grow my hauling business or to expand into sales.
Well, then what a great partnership that you can take ownership of. I'm selling it, we're delivering it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
And that's kind of, we had people asking about carports, and we was like, well, heck, we need to, that's our next, there it is. We just kind of listen. And I just kind of listen to our customers to see where our next direction is going, because if people are asking for the same thing and you don't have it, then you maybe need to look into it.
Right, because they're going to, if they want it, they're going to go find it, and it might as well be from you.
Exactly.
They're already in front of you, right?
So, and that's what we kind of want to do, more like of a one-stop shop. We don't want them to go other places or have to go 30 minutes down the road to find their dog kennel or their greenhouse or their chicken coop. So we want to try to be the one-stop shop for storage needs and whatever.
I love that. So balance-wise, as far as sheds compared to the metal buildings, is it 20/80, 50/50?
50/50 pretty much every month.
Okay, that's spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And it that varies so much by lot. I'll talk to one dealer and they're like, "Oh, nobody wants a steel building." Yeah. Well, what percentage of posts are you doing on free marketplace posts or whatever? I'm a big advocate for that, as we know. Well, I don't do any because nobody wants them. Yeah. Well, we get those preconceived notions. Going back to that question about is there a process or something that you could have put into place that would have made your life easier? That we're going to pass on some tidbits to help people out there. Would you have jumped into more products right off the bat, or is there a process that you didn't have that you have now that you go, gosh, that would have made my life easier? Or did you have it all figured out from day one?
I did not have it figured out.
You didn't really? Well, let's talk about that. Well, then you are normal.
I was extremely new to this. I didn't have a clue what I was doing other than after riding with him, knowing how to deliver and set up and that kind of thing. So we had to learn everything, so I feel like we did it in the correct way. Like we learned the sheds, and I learned the building of the sheds, the components and all that stuff, and felt like I got comfortable with that. Then we moved on to the next thing. But the biggest thing that I was going to say a minute ago is don't be afraid to take chances.
Oh, I love that.
You've got to step out of your comfort zone, which is what I'm doing right now, right here with you. And we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
You have to step out of your comfort zone and try something new, and just go after it.
I love that. Well, and certainly going from banking, I mean, that's a big step. Going from, working at a dental office, I mean, that's a huge step. Going into something that's new. I love the story about, the steps on it. And that's what's so fun about doing this is everybody's story is different. They did a podcast yesterday with a young man who, 5 years old, his dad started building sheds. 12, 13, he's working there part-time. I'm just like, man, this is so cool. Yep. In his head, I think he's like, it's kind of boring. But to me, I'm like, that is so cool because we all have that story of. So what do you feel about, reaching out to people in the industry for help or sharing information or, what's your philosophy on that business-wise?
Well, and it's like, too, when we started how we met you, you were offering a 50-something page booklet.
52
page booklet for absolutely free and not expecting anything in return. And you're sharing it with the industry. We can all help each other. We can all work with each other. And, I find, in anything you can have competition, and friendly competition, which is good. But, working together, we can all work together as well. So, we have like that booklet, giving that thing away for free. Product knowledge, like Sarah was mentioning.
Oh, yeah.
In banking, that's what is huge is product knowledge to sell. Because if you've got a whole bunch of product knowledge on what you're selling, you're going to be able to sell comfortably and talk comfortably about it. And I've been amazed when I come in here to listen to Sarah talk to customers. She's mentioning words I've never even heard of in the shed business or metal business.
Really?
That I didn't even know. She's throwing out terminology and explaining it to the customers. I was like, holy cow, I didn't know she knew all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's just, product knowledge. You just dive in and learn. Don't be afraid to learn. Jump in, study the brochures, know the company. If you're going to be partners with a business, you need to know them cover to cover. Because if not, I mean, you got to be comfortable to kind of get in business with them.
And that's one of the things that you drill into everybody. And I hear you in the back of my head.
Oh boy.
There
you go.
Oh boy, this could go sideways real fast.
Know your product. Know what you're selling. And it's.
I think so many people get in, and it isn't for people not being good people or lack of wanting to know. I think industry wide, and we discuss this a lot, is I think there's a lot of room for the industry to improve on training and helping and sharing things that work. If I'm a customer and I come in, what are some questions, a potential customer, what are some questions you might ask me to find out why I'm here?
Have you been considering adding a line of greenhouses to your brand? At Cold Spring Enterprises, we have the perfect solution for you. By incorporating greenhouse products into your sales location, whether you're a do-it-yourself dealer or a manufacturer supporting multiple shed lots, you can expand your customer base. We offer easy-to-assemble greenhouse kits that will simplify the process of adding greenhouses to your lot. You can choose between two basic styles, an economy style and an A-frame style. We can ship a standard 8x12 greenhouse kit directly to your shed lot or manufacturing location. These kits include all the necessary components for assembly, except for the wainscoting or clear panels, door, and fan. However, we can assist you in connecting with the supplier for these items. Moreover, we also offer negotiable bulk pricing for multiple units. To help you get started, we are pleased to offer an exclusive discount through the Shed Geek podcast. You can receive an 8x12 economy or A-frame style greenhouse, complete with wainscoting or clear panels, a screen door, and fan. The pricing for a complete one-time display unit starts at $2,195 for an economy style and $2,545 for an A-frame style, excluding shipping and tax. For more information and to request bulk unit pricing, please visit www.shedgeek.com/cold-spring-enterprises and fill out your information, and someone will be in touch with you as soon as possible. Or simply go to the Shed Geek newsletter and click on the greenhouse picture to fill out your information. Thank you for considering our greenhouse kits. We are excited to work together to bring greenhouse kits to your line of products.
I kind of ask, what are you looking for? I'm not trying to direct them to a 10 by 20 or a product of the month. We're trying to find out, we're trying to ask them questions to see what would fit their needs, because everybody's got different needs.
Yeah.
You need a small building, you need a big building. You may be trying to push a big building and somebody's only got space for a 10 by 12. And then you're trying to get them to buy a 12 by 32. Well, they don't even have space. So it's not even possible that you're going to make that sale to them. So find out what they're looking for and try to fill that need, try to fill that void.
Fantastic. So I noticed something that you don't do. I'm not being critical. I want to find out why, because I'm all about asking questions. There's no right or wrong. And you'll see me throw it up on the Shed Sales Professionals page, like the question of the week. Cause I'm curious because I like to share information between dealers. I don't see pricing on your buildings, and that's totally okay.
They're on there.
Are they inside?
They're inside,
Okay.
Inside of the door so they don't get rained on.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So then tell me, why do you put pricing on your buildings? Because some dealers don't. I want to tell you a quick story first. There's a gentleman, a great dealer over in Arizona, and he's like, I'm not putting pricing up on my buildings. And I was over there doing training with him, and in my mind, I'm like, well, we've always put pricing on the buildings because me, as a consumer, I like to see the pricing. Doesn't really matter, right? What I want, it's what. So I said, well, tell me more about that. And he said, I want to get them in and sit down with them and we'll develop the pricing. I was like, great. And it's working fantastic for him. And then he also said, I do not offer any sales. Well, and he does metal and wood. He says, I don't discount my services. And I said, great. Well, tell me more about that, because my philosophy is I liked it when the company I was with didn't offer any sales, because I would say, our prices are great and we keep them that way for everyone. But when we did go to the, having a monthly sale or always a sale, I would have regular price on the building, and then I'd say, let's come in and sit down and see what discounts we can get you for. So I was really curious his philosophy. And he said, I don't discount my services. And he said, I just don't. And I said, if I was still on the dealer's side, I would actually try that. Because we can learn so much. So tell us why you do put the pricing on it, and what advantage do you see there?
People like it. I mean, around here, people like to see what they're going to get. They like to see the sale price. They like to see the regular price. I have both. I have the regular price.
I love that. See?
I have the sale price, so they can see how much they're saving. Because in my mind, my mentality, I love a sale.
Oh, I do too.
I love a sale.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have actually done research on when the steel company was not having a sale. We didn't get as many calls. We didn't get as many leads, but if you throw out there, hey, look.
So doesn't that tell us that other people also like sales?
Right. Just one word, sale.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you didn't get as many calls. Where do your calls come from?
Mainly Facebook.
Okay. Are you paying for ads?
Yes, occasionally.
Okay. What's your main thing on Facebook that you're doing?
That'd be Sarah's department.
Okay.
I mean,
she owns Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have every single thing that we have on Marketplace. We have a featured building of the week that comes out from Steelcraft. I post that on Marketplace.
Yeah.
I'm big on Marketplace.
And I've followed your page for a couple of years.
I had a customer
your graphics, your everything, it's beautiful. I mean, you do an amazing job. I look back I look back 6.5 years at the stuff I posted. I'm like, oh my gosh, holy cow, that was horrible picture.
And you learn and you grow, and that's what people say. You know, she really owns Facebook, but a lot of people, it's kind of like the unmanned lot. You know, if you want to sell one building a month, you can have an unmanned lot, but she spends time on the advertising, even if it's free or paid. And we just recently started paying for some of those, trying to boost them, get them on out there.
Yep.
But, and because we didn't have the budget to spend $1,000 a month on
You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say, I started with $44 in my account, right?
So we, try to be consistent with it. But also, she spends hours a day. She probably spends 1 to 2 hours a day advertising, and every single day, not just 2 days a week or 3 days, every single day that she's here or when she's at home, she is doing advertising on Facebook. She's got 40 or 50 groups that she's in. She can only post to some of those 2 days a week or 3 days a week.
Yes, so because of the group rules.
She's got a spreadsheet that she's got set up. She knows exactly when to post, where to post, what to post. But like I said, she spends that's probably a fourth of her day is spent on doing those advertisements, and she's gotten better with she's learning and growing. And that's kind of the big thing is learn and grow with this stuff. Yeah. And you've been instrumental in that for us too, helping. We've got a lot of stuff, from you guys and things like that.
You just said a word that I love: consistency. It's I've literally had a couple dealers say I do posts. There's no reason to do it. I don't get any calls. Nobody comes in. Well, number one, how many groups are you in? Yeah. I'm in 10. How often do you post? Let's see. It's April. I think I did one back in February, but it didn't work. Yeah. No one called. Well, it didn't work because people, they need to see that. And we know the algorithms of Facebook. I mean, Facebook is a very profitable company for a reason. Yep. They, as soon as we figure out that, well, we'll never figure out their algorithms, but as soon as we get a hint of this is working, they're going to change it because they want us to do paid ads. I love that you're doing some of each. Yeah. I do believe that that's best. And I can relate. I had zero budget to do paid ads, and so it worked for us doing what we were doing. Now on our side, we're going to be doing some both, and so I love that you're doing that. Do you ask people when they call or when they come in, how do you know do you ask how they were referred to you or how they found you? Do you track that?
I tell myself I need to do that daily. I just start talking,
That's okay. Well, it's working.
Somewhere in the conversation,
there's no right or wrong.
I'll ask.
Okay, so you're getting that information because I think that's important too. If you're doing paid ads and it's driving 90% of your business up your budget, right? So being able to track that is really important.
But what I found out is that, we're a small town, so we do a lot of local advertising too. Yeah. Now that we've grown, we've got the budget to do it. So yes. We were talking about this the other day. We're in Durham's little convenience store down here, but it's like booming. Everybody goes to it when they go to the lakes and stuff like that. Well, they do a menu. Well, we have an advertisement in the menu. Be Well Honey in Pickens, we have an advertisement in that menu. We have one in Pizza Inn. We like to eat around here, I guess you can tell.
Yeah, you're my kind of people.
And that was kind of the highlight of our advertising is Sarah called me one day, and usually we're just kind of asking each other about, can we do this? Can we spend $500 on this? Well, she called and she said, you won't believe what just happened. She said, we're going to be on the tables at Pizza Inn, our advertisement. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, the guy come by and she said, that's kind of been my goal ever since we started this, to be on the table at Pizza Inn. So now our advertising
goals, people, goals.
Yes, and I'm there. So
what's their best pizza they have there?
Oh, there's nothing bad there.
Oh, okay. I love that.
So good.
I love that.
The chocolate chip pizza.
Yeah.
The chocolate chip pizza.
It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, they have all kinds of stuff.
I'm actually glad you brought that up. So, and I'll tell you what my philosophy was, and it isn't right or wrong. It's I'm wondering if you're the same. That yours is the same. I can't talk right now. So we didn't do this at our Phoenix lot because it was too big of an area, right? Mm-hmm. But our other lots were in smaller areas. It's really easier to advertise in those areas. And so there was a place called June's Cafe. I mean, there wasn't anybody who didn't know June's Cafe, and we did the table toppers. And I didn't look at it as someone is going to be eating their eggs and bacon, and they're going to be like, my gosh, I got to go call the shed gal. But what I did see it as is name recognition. Exactly. Is that why you're doing it? Yes. Okay, great. Because I had a dealer recently who spent a huge amount of money on a 4x8 billboard at a semi-pro baseball field. I mean, a huge amount of money. And I said, what are your intentions? And he's like, well, I'm going to sell a bunch of sheds from this. Oh, boy. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he does. It is fantastic. It's managing those expectations, right, of why are we doing this? We're supporting a local company, and we're getting our name out there for when they're there eating their chocolate chip. Was it chocolate chip pizza?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, what are we doing for lunch?
Chocolate chip pizza. And they got a new Oreo cookie pizza.
You've got to be kidding me.
Upside down blueberry, strawberry, I'm telling you, it's amazing.
They got good normal pizza too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I'll go for the dessert first.
But I've found that with marketing, you can burn through your budget in an instant. I mean, it's so much, supplies. Yeah, you can kind of get caught up in that. But with marketing, you can burn through a budget. It don't matter if you set $1 million budget. You can burn through that in a few days.
Right.
So that's what we've talked about. We kind of wanted to have a goal, but also we wanted to kind of help people. Like we just got into some books. This guy come around, I think it was $300. But they give out books to police stations and fire departments that if a house is burnt down or they pick up kids, they give these books out or they're absolutely free.
Okay.
And so our advertisement is in the front of that. There's a couple, 5 or 6 on the first page. And so I kind of like us helping the community and helping children. So if it's involving children, get our name out.
Right.
I couldn't tell you, we probably spend the most that we spend on one item is like $500 for advertising. But it's stuff like the little menus and to help kids type organizations and things like this. They give these books out to places that maybe can't afford books. And it's real neat. These books are like helping kids, their character, how to build their character
right.
and things like that. So it's very conscious oriented.
In their time of need.
Yes.
So you're doing it with a heart of helping, and you're getting your name out there. I can't think of a better way to do it. I mean, we sell things. We have to market ourselves. Let's not kid ourselves. But having that giving heart. Do you do any giveaways at all? We
try to do that. We want to start doing more of that, but we hadn't really done any giveaways. Yeah. But when we kind of look at it, it's kind of twofold. We're spending money to advertise and market. But also, we're involved with the local rodeo. We advertise there.
Yes.
And it's to help kids. And that's what I told her. I've always been on a farm. If we had this rodeo, I'd have been doing rodeo because I always loved that as a kid.
Right.
And we never had the option where they go in there and
it's
teach
never
you
too late
as young kids.
To go for your goal.
I thought he was going to try a couple of months ago, and then he said
he was what? Wait, say that.
Yeah, he was going.
I was going to try to do some shoot dogging with the steers, and I bought a steer. Not for that, but we bought a bull for the farm, and after trying to manhandle this little 300-pound bull, I was like, "There's no way I'm getting in there with a 600-pound steer to try to wrestle that thing." So,
and then I think he fell off his truck too, didn't you? You fell off something, and he couldn't move for a few days.
Okay,
so
yeah, stay. That ship is passed.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. So at this age, the rodeo's passed.
But going back to asking people where they heard about us. That's kind of the point I was getting to. Some of them tell me that they don't even know, but they see me everywhere. So they can't tell us exactly.
There it is. Yeah. I like to say, boom, there it is. Yeah.
But it's kind of subconsciously and
they feel like they know you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of your consistency.
And too, we both grew up here too.
Right.
So a lot of people do know us.
Yeah.
And they know our family.
Well, I truly believe it's easier to market to a smaller area especially when we're starting out. We just got hooked up with Shed Geek Marketing. And it is not something that I was able to do, especially when I started out. And then I didn't know what I didn't know. So even when I could afford to utilize their services, I didn't even know it was available or how it would benefit me. I'm really excited to see how that progresses. We're going to do some things that are a little bit different than anything we've ever done in the past. And I think, going back to that, they know you. Yeah, they know you. I have had some of the craziest situations. I mean, literally, I was in Cabo in December, walking into the airport, and I hear someone say, "Oh, there's the famous shed gal." Yeah. I didn't know if I should turn around or run. And I had sold them a building in Heber Overgard, Arizona. Probably have never heard of it. It's out in the middle of nowhere, beautiful little community. And, 2 years earlier. And or I'd be in the market and like, "Are you the shed gal?" I am. And so, but they feel like they know you, and that's so important. If there's anybody listening that can benefit of this, let them know who you are. You're wearing a really nice shirt, and it happens to have your hauling company's name on it. Why? Don't they know who you are when you say, "Hi, I'm Bryan"? Why do you wear that shirt?
Well, and like these shirts, it takes us about $15 a shirt to do these. And so we do that with our hauling company. Me and him have that. Yeah. We've got the Partons sheds that we try to wear as much as possible here.
Absolutely.
It's like, we walk around, we got a Azalea festival they have every spring here. That's today and tomorrow. But you walk around and got the hats. You walk around and people see it. And every time I go into Tractor Supply, there's a guy out there, and one day he's going to come buy a shed from us, but he's like, "I've been meaning to stop out there and look at your sheds." He said, "Y'all are out near the flea market." And I said, "Yep, that's us. Come on out and see us." Yeah. But he sees my hat, and that triggers him to think about sheds every time I see him.
I love that. And I think it shows that you're proud too.
Yeah.
You're proud to represent. I was talking to someone last weekend that works at a place that sells a product, and they said, "I would never refer any of my friends to come in there because the sales tactics are so shady." And I was like, "Oh, that's horrible." But I was thinking, how horrible is that? Like, you're proud, I'm proud. There's no reason to not be proud of what we do. Name recognition is so important. At the end of the day, you're a business person. We deal with businesses every single day of our lives. People know you sell stuff. Your friends want to support you, but there's a lot of people that don't know you. And when they see you be proud, they feel like they know you. Mm-hmm. And, I saw the gentleman that was in here, and I heard, it wasn't his first time in. He came back because of who you are. Mm-hmm. And I think it's amazing. I'd love a hat and a t-shirt, by the way. That's how I get my tips. There you go. So, I love watching your journey. You are good people, What do you, what's the biggest challenge? Like with a metal building, is it, what do you see as a challenge in that area? Or is every sale just perfect?
I think the product knowledge, is the biggest challenge because there's a lot to it, but the more you know about it, because a lot of times people come in, they don't know the terms for this stuff. They say, we always ask them, "Would you got a picture of what you're looking for?" Because they're trying to explain it.
Ooh, I like stealing that idea. Yeah. I like that. Never asked a customer that before.
And they're trying to, my mind works different from my wife's mind and my son's and, all of our customers. So, I'm thinking of one thing, and then they show me a picture, and it's totally different. What I'm thinking they were trying to explain to me.
Right?
So I think the product knowledge, knowing what can be done, because I'll be talking with her about something, and she's like, "Oh, we can do that. You can do this." And she shows me on the configurators, but just product knowledge, just knowing, and it's so easy. It doesn't cost you anything. You could sit there and before you go to bed, 15 to 30 minutes before you go to bed, read the brochure, learn about your product. You can do it anytime, anywhere.
It's shocking to me how many people that I've talked to in the industry that have never read the contract that they have customers sign, or because they've never been taught about it, so they're not comfortable, or that they don't, search out knowledge. I think it gives you an advantage. I really,
exactly.
And I think that just ensures success. How many buildings on average do you have, like the stick-built buildings on average, do you have on your lot at any one time here?
Typically 30 to 40.
Which is amazing.
And that's the new buildings, but we also sell repos and, and kennels and gazebos, but that's just the
wonderful. I noticed you have several beautiful greenhouses out there. Holy cow. You did some in the greenhouse. Well, you did it in the porta potty, so I shouldn't have been surprised. I mean, I'm telling you, people, you need to come by this lot and check out their porta potty.
That's right.
It's the craziest thing. But we went into the greenhouse, and what did I see? I saw plant starts. You're very creative. It's You did the porta potty too?
No, she did the porta potty.
Okay.
I did the.
He's the plant guy.
Okay.
I did the solar powered fan in the porta potty, the exhaust fan.
He did
very nice. I didn't even notice. I got to go back.
Oh yeah.
So that greenhouse is really cool because when I walked in there, I'm like, this is what I'm thinking in my head. You made it so I can visualize how I can use this.
Yeah.
You did it the same thing with your office. Porta potty, we know how to use that. But anyway, I just thought that was, and it's, and you're growing some cool stuff in there too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really neat. Getting people to visualize how it's going to work for them, not making assumptions, doing the regular marketing. My husband, he'll listen to this. Oh, he say, put your phone down. I said, I can't. It's what makes us money. I had a friend one time stop by. He lives about a mile from one of my lots, and he was going on and on and on, talking to me and talking my ear off, and it was great, except for I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I have so much work to do. I need to be doing this stuff. And I finally said, I've got to get back to work. And he goes, there's no one here besides me. And I said, oh my gosh. That's what customers think too, that we don't have anything to do behind the scenes. I said, actually, I'm on a break right now talking to you. And that's the same thing when I have a customer. That's a break. Yeah. My work is behind the scenes. It's so fun when a customer comes in.
Yeah. And we find ourselves, and that's the hard part. And I know a lot of good business people, say it's hard to find that work home balance because we'll be at home or Sunday afternoon when we're supposed to be taking a break.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you because I think you just spoke in French.
Work-life
home balance, or work-life balance. I don't know what that is right now. So sorry to interrupt.
She's we've been on vacation before, and she's talking with customers.
Yes,
because she's been but it's like we said earlier, it is what we like. We don't want to spend 10 hours a day on our vacation doing this, but we can spend a few hours because it is our passion.
And it allows you to go on vacation.
Yeah. And people don't realize that we're on vacation, with
the
internet and things like that nowadays over the phone and things like this. People don't know where we can be in Cabo, which I see all those pictures. And I want to go to Cabo too. So
a little jealous.
Maybe with our partnership, that can be our business meeting. Yeah. But, we kind of do that, and people don't realize, or, late at night, everybody's say, we appreciate you getting back with us. It's 10 o'clock at night and you're sitting here answering questions. We can't necessarily get them used to that all the time, but sometimes we can do that, and they really appreciate that. So
make the contact.
I think really what ensures your success is what I'm hearing is you do things that other people don't do. You take the extra step, and you're darn good people. You're consistent. I mean, it's if you're not going to be really, well, you already are really successful, but you'll see continued growth. If you don't, nobody will. Yeah. I mean, literally. Yeah. And very, very interesting. What's your flash questions? What's your dream vacation, Sarah?
Bora Bora.
Oh, Bora Bora.
She sees these pictures of the little cabin or the little huts in the water. She wants to stay in one of those.
I think I've seen one of those Facebook ads. It's almost like Facebook post work.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Morgan, flash question. What's your dream car?
Oh, Lord.
Wait. It's a Toyota Corolla, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. We had one of those. I'll pass. So I'll be honest with you. I've always wanted the truck that I have now, actually. Everybody wants $1 million cars, and that would be cool. But in reality, as much red mud as we have here, there's no reason in having that.
Right.
Unless I move somewhere else, there's no reason to have that. So the truck that I have now is 2017 Ford F450, and I've always wanted one. I've always thought, just the size, the pure size of it. put a set of wheels and tires on it, and it looks awesome. So
fantastic, isn't
now
it?
I haul with it.
I think, and you're still young. I'm much older, little older. I meant. My dream car today is way different than it was when I was 20, 25, or 30. Isn't that crazy?
A lot more practical.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's got a Corvette over there that I was wanting to buy from him, but after sitting in it and trying to get out of it, I was like, that dream car is done past.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah, isn't that ironic?
I've got 2 babies now, so single row cars don't really do too well with 2 babies. I got to have 4 doors and a full back seat to where they're not going crazy on each other.
Yeah. So, how old are your kids now?
So I've got a 2-year-old. She's right now 2 years and 6 months, I believe. Oh. And then my little boy, he is just turned 6 months yesterday.
Oh, wow. Well, literally. and I saw the kids just a couple months ago, and especially with the little one, I'm sure the baby's changed a lot already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's our first grandbaby, so we're always showing pictures. Have you seen pictures of my grandbaby?
Yeah.
Yep.
I noticed the pictures. Yeah, I think it's great. It's great. Let's see, Brian. What can we ask you for a class? Let's turn around. What do you want to ask me?
Goodness, I don't know. Put me on the spot there.
I know. I noticed I didn't say, "Do you want to ask me anything?" Because I didn't want to get a no. I said, "What do you want to ask me?"
See if Sarah's got a question.
Okay. No, you know better than that.
No. You don't have to ask me anything.
I usually just ask you when I think about it.
I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you always have an open line of communication, and you have helped us succeed in this business from day one. I was terrified to do anything like this, and the conference call that we had, and just knowing that you're there, and I'm like, Susan, how do I do this, or what do I do? Or
that's why I do what I do. It is, and I really appreciate. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, because sometimes I we don't know the impact that we have.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: where do you see your business in a few years? Where do you want to go? Do you want to expand lots? Do you want to just stay doing what you're doing? Do you want to expand products? Tell me about that, and then we'll wrap this up.
I would love to have a second lot somewhere, and we've always talked about doing that, and maybe Morgan running it. So we definitely want to expand new products, new locations. But wonderful. I don't want to. I would love to be able to have a little more free time, but I can't ever see myself not being involved.
Right. I think
it's hard for me to let go.
I think what this industry has done for me is what it's also done for you. It's I didn't know what the opportunity was, and it just, I can't believe that, not even 7 years, and here I am sitting with you on the Shed Geek podcast, getting to interview you. I mean, I had no idea, just just the opportunities. It's going to be so fun to watch you on your journey. I want to thank you all for Sarah begged me to come on this podcast. I was like, gosh, I don't know. But I said, I'll do it. I'll come out there and do it. But I do. I truly want to thank you. You're just fabulous people. And anything else you want to add?
I think the biggest thing is in any type of business, it don't matter if it's sheds or cars or what, but, just treat people the way that you would want to be treated. And that's how I try to, if I'm out delivering a shed, I try to set up the shed the way I would want it set up in my own yard. Or,
it's a great way to do business.
Yeah. And when people come here and we talking with them, I try to treat them or respond and talk back with them, because if you think, what if you're talking to a business and at 10 o'clock at night, you can tell it's a person responding instead of just a robot canned speech. You're like, wow, those people are really dedicated to it. Or, when I'm here, we're here 10 to 1 on Saturday, and it's 1:30, and people's like, oh, you got to go. I was like, hey, I own this business, so I'll stay here until the customers quit coming by.
I can stay here if I want.
Yeah. But, and I said, it's my business, so, it's crucial to our success of doing these things, because if I was to, sometimes the 9 to 5 jobs, you at 5 o'clock or 5:15, you're ready to bust out the door. But
or your employer forces you out.
Exactly. Yeah. But
it doesn't matter if there's a line, line of people.
And here, this is our business, so the success is up to us. But we don't want to just run out the door at 1 o'clock or whatever. So I've been here 2 hours. I've been here till 3:00, 2 hours past when we close, because people were still here.
Yeah.
And, not because, I was wanting to make the sales, but, people's coming in. I want to talk with them.
You want to take care of them.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And I think to feed off of that too, I think a big thing that, customers tell me all the time, because I get to talk to the customer after the sales side.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of times, nobody knows that I'm the son until I get there and I introduce myself and, oh, you're kin to them. And yeah, I'm the son. And, a lot of times, they'll tell us straight up like, oh, well, it was a pleasure working with them. And we really pride ourselves on being able to sit across the table from you, or being out there talking with them, or at the setup. We pride ourselves on, like you said, treating people how we want to be treated, and, genuinely caring about people versus, all right, we need to make this sale. All right, we need to get this set up, and then we're never going to talk to you again. Right. We're not those people.
And you never will be.
Exactly.
Yeah. You never will be.
And I've actually quit telling people that he's my son, because when I say my son and they've never met me face to face, they don't know I'm nearly 50 and he's 25 years old. They're thinking, in their minds, I'm sitting there thinking, they must think he's like a 14-year-old kid going to come out and deliver. They don't know he's 25 years old. But
Right.
So a lot of times I don't say that or I say my driver's my son.
Yeah.
Morgan will be coming, instead of me, because they think I'm showing up. And I was like, no, I'm not showing up.
And from the customer's perspective, I'll tell them, oh yeah, I'm, they own the business, and then I drive with them and whatnot. And a lot of people sit back and say, well, are you going to call your dad for help? And I'm like, yeah, I could if I needed to, but the machines do all the work. I control the machines, tell them what to do, and they do all the work.
And being modest.
And
He's amazing.
if you don't,
I
to
know.
all the shed people out there, if you don't have a mule, get a mule.
Yeah.
Makes life a lot easier. For sure.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, I'm so glad that you reached out a couple of years ago. I am so impressed with who you are, your business. I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to just continue being your friend, most importantly, and watching your journey. So I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to this week's Shed Geek podcast. And thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.